I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about hidden breakups.
Shh, don't tell anyone we broke up.
Why do they keep it a secret? You know, when you're going through it and somebody has not made the breakup public, all you can think is, does this mean we're going to get back together? Does this mean they're rethinking things? They don't want to tell everybody yet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is actually a big reason why somebody might not want to go public with it, right?
And we have a lot of other reasons that we're going to share in this video. I did want to say before that we start, Craig and I are available for one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you are interested in talking about your situation with us, you can head to the website and book from there.
That's right. You know, sometimes people have a really hard time sharing their life publicly. Some people are very, very private and they don't want to talk about anything. And so when they get to a situation with a breakup where it's confusing and overwhelming and it's, you know, there's so many different emotions going on there, that's even more difficult for them to go public with. Okay? And they may not have told their friends or their family or their coworkers and just kept it private. And you're sitting there thinking, well, they haven't changed our Facebook status.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
That is a big one.
It still says we're in a relationship, but they told me we're definitely never getting back together.
Or pictures are still up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And breakups put both parties in a vulnerable position, whether you're the dumper or the dumpee, you know, because it feels like you're admitting some type of failure of a relationship, that it didn't work out. And a lot of times you get responses from people around you, you know, so we want to talk about some of those reasons why somebody would hide a breakup. Yes, them being ambivalent, them not wanting to commit to a breakup and have that be public and have that be concrete can definitely be one of those reasons.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Another one is what I had just mentioned about not being interrogated by friends and family around them. Everyone is going to have an opinion.
And interested people.
This is true.
Because all the people that have been secretly crushing on you and stalking your social media, they're going to come out of the woodwork.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they might be less likely to share that information because they know that other people will comment. Other people will say things, and in order to avoid those types of interactions, they just say, let me get to a place to where I can handle it first. Yeah. Which might be the wise thing to do, because if you know that you're going to have, you know, sharp responses back, you might say, well, let me wait until I'm calmer about this before I start saying things.
Yeah, because if you all of a sudden go public on, let's say on Facebook, and then everybody starts messaging you and hitting you up and what happened, you're going to get the people saying what happened. Then they're going to be the people who don't care what happened. They just want to, they're just interested.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Most people wouldn't say that's a bad thing. But it can be overwhelming, especially if you're dealing with heartache.
Yeah. If you're not thinking about anybody else or dating anybody else, you don't want all these people, you know, constantly berating you, especially women. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's even if you're the dumper. You know, it can feel kind of slimy of, oh, okay, you were just waiting for the moment, you know, that I would be single. Are you genuinely interested in me or not? You know, start to question. And the telling of other people hurts too. I remember personally in some of my breakups, some of the hardest parts were telling my family members who were invested in my partner. You know, that was in some situations harder than the breakup itself, is breaking it to my family of, this didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know, because they had so much hope that this would be the person, you know.
That they really love that person too.
And in certain cultures, you know, with my Latin background, for my family, it was a sense of security. You know, our daughter has found someone who, you know, they can live life in partnership, and there's a sense of security and safety around that. So to break it to my family that, hey, it didn't work out. It's the sense of loss for me, of course, but also for them. And that was hard. And so some people, to avoid dealing with the pain of the breakup, along with the pain of their family members dealing with the breakup, will decide to keep it hidden for a while or low key.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a really big one. And keep in mind, other people's reactions can cause you to feel a lot of different emotions. Can cause you to feel regret, remorse, shame, confusion. There's been times where, I have been the dumper, and people's reactions around me had made me rethink the relationship.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you're in the process of making a decision and you want to make it your own and
That's
not
true.
be influenced by those around you.
Other people will be telling you what they think you should do. You should do this. You should you should do that. Give them another chance. Keep going. You know what I mean?
And it can feel like a lot of pressure. And
Yeah.
that's why a lot of exes will get angry if you try to reach out to their friends and family to convince them otherwise.
And the shame is a big one too.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple of email coachings off the top of my head that from not too long ago, where somebody was like, "Well, I've already been divorced twice. If I end this marriage, it's going to be my third. I cannot be divorced a third time." Things like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There is a lot of shame attached to breakup and a lot of stigma. It can be hard to break out of that, to advocate for yourself, and to still feel that sense of dignity. There can be a lot of shame and stigma attached to breakups, and it can be really hard to advocate for yourself even after that comes out. And so, we always talk about on our channel that you do have dignity, relationships. It feels like a failure, but if you keep trying, these are all skills that can be worked on.
Absolutely.
We believe that no matter how terrible of a partner you think you are, you can still work on those skills. It's a muscle just like anything else.
Definitely.
Another one is avoiding confrontation. And you can see this from avoidance a lot. Those who have avoidant attachment styles, they don't want to deal with confrontation. They don't want their decision to be challenged. And there can also be a sense of guilt that comes up when other people around you say, "Oh no, what happened?" Just like, I had a sense of guilt in telling my family, knowing that what their reaction would be like.
Yeah.
And so these things are real, and these things can cause people to avoid going more public with their breakup.
Yeah. All accurate. I mean, we see all of these reasons. Another one is that you don't want everybody getting involved. And believe me, they're going to try. The mothers, the uncles' mothers, the mothers' uncles, they're all chiming in, they're all reaching out, they're all getting involved, and it's making it a huge mess. That's why we tell you, on your end, do your best to keep family and friends out. Don't get them involved.
And that doesn't mean that they won't try, because
Yeah.
they might try.
Yeah. I had a call like a week or two ago. Oh, my sister reached out.
Yeah.
And it said this, or the mother reaches out, and they did that. You don't want people involved if at all possible. You don't want third-party information. It could be inaccurate. They might have an agenda behind what they're telling you. Like I've talked about, I had a mutual friend to the Applebee's girl, and she was not being honest with me, and she was sabotaging things and lying to me because she had feelings for me, and I had no idea. I honestly had no idea. You knew who I'm talking about too.
I know all the tea.
But you've met her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I do know who you're talking about. Yeah, I do.
So these things happen and they make a huge mess.
They do.
And then you get this information, and sometimes your ex gets really upset. With my case, the Applebee's girl, like, you trusted so-and-so, she faked being pregnant, and she does this and do that. And then I was like, yeah, that's true. And yet she was honest with me, so I knew. That's when I started putting pieces of the puzzle together, that, oh my gosh, she hadn't been honest with me because she had her own agenda. So people have their own agenda. So you got to be careful about getting other people involved.
Right. And just like sometimes you might think that you can be the hero of the relationship and fight for it, sometimes family members feel that way too.
It's true.
We talk about all the time how family members can sometimes get angry at your ex because they want to defend you, or they say, forget about them. don't even think about revisiting it. But the opposite can happen too. They can say, why would you let that relationship go? Why would you break up with so-and-so? Let me try to message them to get you guys back together, and third party involvement does not go well typically.
Yeah. And so that's one of the reasons people don't want to tell other people about the breakup yet.
Mm-hmm. Another big one is sneaky. And this might be that others don't even know about the relationship yet.
Yeah, because they're married with 3 kids.
I hate to say, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't see it.
It's true.
I wouldn't
It's
say it
true.
if I didn't see it. So sometimes it's because other people don't even know about the relationship. So they avoid talking about the breakup. They just pretend nothing ever happened. You could see this with people who really care about image, people who are tend to be very avoidant in attachment style.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind. How public is your relationship in general? And does that affect if they are public about the breakup?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And sometimes things like this are just difficult to talk about. Mm-hmm. They want to be in a better place because they know there's going to be a lot of things that happen once people find out. Like all of those things that we've already talked about happen all at once. It's overwhelming. All these people messaging you, all these people asking what happened, all these people getting involved. Mm-hmm. It's overwhelming. I can tell you guys, it was very difficult for us to talk about Margaret when she passed.
Yeah.
And we needed, 3 weeks? About 3 weeks before we could tell you guys because it was just too overwhelming. We were just too shocked and too upset. And we knew that we were literally going to get people every single day talking to us, messaging us, and it still happens. I still get comments almost every day or close to every day that they didn't know Margaret passed, people that were fans of the channels for years. So, and we talked about this ahead of time because we weren't ready. So sometimes people just aren't ready yet. They have to get to a place where they're ready emotionally to be able to talk with everybody. Because, for us, how many people... Thousands and thousands of people loved Margaret, and they all want to wish us condolences and, talk to us and share. But it's a lot on us.
Yeah.
People
want to know what's going on. They want to hear the story, and even talking about the details of the story to someone can be very re-triggering.
Mm-hmm. I still hear it at least weekly. Still, people will say my condolences to Margaret, and we appreciate that. But it is overwhelming at the same time because. It takes you back and it puts you back into that place where you're having to deal with the grief and all the struggles that come with that.
And I think thinking about, a loss in life is a really good comparison because a breakup is a loss. Any of you who have gone through a major loss in your life understand what that's like.
Yep.
When it's fresh and someone wants to know what happened. So talking about the details, most people can remember exactly where they were when they found out that they had lost, a major attachment figure in their life, let's say.
Absolutely.
And so these things can be difficult to talk about.
Definitely.
And remember that your story is yours to tell. And so, this goes for you. This also goes for your partner. That you can take whatever time that you need before sharing with others that the breakup has happened. And so can they.
Yep.
It has to go on your timeline. Now, if they're doing it for malicious reasons or trying to hide that there was ever a relationship, it's different. But if they are being aware of their emotions, if you're being aware of your emotions and understanding where you're at and feeling ready to share with others, that's what's important. You also want to be mindful if you're blocking out support. One of the best ways to process information is to talk about it. It is painful to talk about the details and the events, but it's also part of healing. I realized in my personal life and some of my losses, I realized that I had healed because I was able to talk about it fluidly. I wasn't stopping to catch my breath or to cry every moment. And I realized I had processed and integrated that traumatic or painful experience in my life, because I was able to understand it more. And same goes for sharing a breakup. We want you guys to be able to have people in your life, support systems that you can rely on, and that you're not avoiding talking about it because you don't want to be vulnerable or you don't want to get through it, or you're just isolating yourself. Don't let go of those supports in your life and be able to use them. Now, friends and family won't always give the best advice. We talk about this.
No, they will not. They will not.
But use your support system. Ask your friends and family, hey, can I vent? I just need to talk about this. I'm not asking for advice. I just need a listening ear.
It's tough because
tough.
they want to give you advice.
They do.
They want to tell you what to do wrong.
This is true. But surround yourself with people. It is in your own timing, but don't let go of those supports. And lastly, it's going to be a rite of passage. In a breakup, there's going to come a time where it is going to be public. People are going to start asking you more and more directly. Things tend to escalate. And at some point, you will have to be truthful, transparent, and honest about, what's gone on with your breakup.
Yep.
So consider.
But you don't owe them.
You don't owe them.
You
don't owe them.
Keep it short and sweet.
This is true. It will be a rite of passage. At some point, it will come up. So thinking about that, making wise decisions on how you share, what you share. You don't owe anybody anything, but it is your story to tell.
Mm-hmm. And also remember that whatever you do share could and often does get back to your ex.
Keep it in mind.
So you got to be very, very careful.
Mm-hmm. Don't be spiteful.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And often, unless it's somebody that you really, really trust, you want to keep that to yourself because, like I said earlier, people get involved, they can make a mess. Mm-hmm. So you don't want that to happen.
That's true.
All right. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. And of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.